Okay, so starting from my two stations, I have my two lines running, and we rig them together, we tie them together in a alpine butterfly with both of the ropes. And what this does, it basically unifies the two ropes to one point. And from here, I'm going to attach my gurney or my stretcher or anything else that I'm using to the loops, both loops of the alpine butterfly. And I also have two ends coming out of this. The short end, for the most part, is going to go to my casualty, directly to whatever anchor point I can create. If he's healthy enough to put on a harness, that's going to be it. And if he needs some other device, then we're going to find a way to secure him to that. And then the longer of the two legs is going to be the backup. For the most part, that's going to be a loose backup to my rescuer. Usually with a figure eight, sometimes with a different knot, but for the most part, that's what it's going to look like. We do try, if we don't have a limitation on the amount of gear that we're carrying, if we have enough people, we do try and separate the colors of the two ropes. We use two different backpacks, and then you have two different colors, and it's easier to communicate, but that's not a must. Now this will connect to our stretcher, our gurney, our litter, and I have it set up in the usual setup that we use, and I'm sure this will look familiar, but this allows us to alternate from vertical to horizontal depending on the setting. Basically what we have is two D-rings. For the most part, we'll have them opposing, or we'll always have them opposing. We try and use short rings for this specific use. So for the most part, we'll do our best not to use oval rings in this situation. We have two of them for redundancy, and because they tend to flip and twist in weird angles in this specific location. I have two slings coming off of that. They have to be equal length, and these are my main slings. That's actually the anchor point that I'm counting on. Everything else is auxiliary. This is what I have to make sure that works, and that's strong enough. So I have another D-ring coming off of that with a swivel pulley, and that swivel pulley has a rope running down to one end of the gurney, stretcher, and the other end of the rope goes into a gree-gree, and in theory it could have been any self-locking device, but it goes into a gree-gree. We've gotten used to using them in this setting, and a carabiner in the other end. And what that allows me is to relatively easily release more of that rope. And since I'm using one hand to hold the camera, I'm just going to pause and show you what it looks like at the end.